Okay, so we have record book 2 here open. So record book 2, if you look at the column, so these lines are all lined in red in your record books. And we're going to use this to try and work out the profit that a business might make buying and selling goods. Okay, so when we look at how you'd calculate profit, we would think, well, we have our sales, so the amount of money we get for selling goods, and then we're going to take away from that the cost of the goods that I sold. Okay, so I'm just going to widen that column to make it a bit easier to read. Okay, so I start off with I'm trying to work out the cost of the goods I sold, and when I take these two away, I'm going to end up with a number called a word called profit. And so that's the answer I'm looking for. I'm trying to work out my profit. So that means if I sell something for €100 and it costs me €80, well, I've made a profit of €20. So the only complication we have with this is working out the cost of the goods that I sold when I'm constantly buying and selling goods. So I always have goods sitting on my shelves. So I have stock. So that's why I say not just cost or money I spent buying goods, but it's the cost of the goods that I actually sold. So how I work out the cost of my goods sold is, imagine we've got a shop and we've got goods sitting on the shelves. At the beginning of the month, I'll have opening stock. So what that means is at the beginning of the month, I have goods sitting on my shelves. To that, I bought goods. So I bought goods during the month, and I may have had to spend other money on them like transport or whatever, but for now, we're just going to focus on spending money buying goods. When I add the value of the goods I had at the beginning to the value that I spent buying new goods, I'll get something called goods available. So what that means is that's the value of the goods that were available that could have been sold this month. Because I had X amount of goods on the shelves plus the new goods that I bought in. So there's the value that I had available to sell this month. And then at the end of the month, I go and I say, well, there are some of the goods that I may have bought that I haven't sold. So I can't include those in the cost of goods sold because those goods were not sold. So I'll take them away. So we'll take away our closing stock. So what that means is at the end of the month, I'll count the number of goods that are sitting on our shelves and say, well, those goods were never sold, so I need to take them away when I'm working out the cost of goods sold. So if I come up with some numbers to show you how to do this. So let's say, for example, this month I sold €5,000 worth of goods. At the beginning of the month, let's say I had €200 worth of goods sitting on my shelves, and I went and spent €2,000 buying new goods. So that means that the goods that are available are going to be the 200 plus the 2,000 that I got. Now, one thing we'll notice here, do you see how the units are not under the units? It would be very easy for you to make a mistake and add up the numbers wrong. So what you should always do, and we're going to do this with all of our numbers here, is always make sure that your numbers are lined up on the right hand side at the edge, so that you have units under units, tens under tens. Otherwise, you could very easily add your numbers wrong if you're doing this. So we had €2,000 worth of goods we could have sold this month. We went around at the end of the month and we found out that there was €400 worth of goods left, so we're going to take that away. So the actual cost of goods sold is going to be 1,800. So I take these two numbers away. Now, what I've done with my sum so far, I started off by saying sales less cost of goods sold equals profit. So I can work that out now. So we have sales, take away the cost of the goods I sold, and there's our profit. But it was a bit complicated to work out the cost of goods sold, so I moved one column to the left. So I always start in the right hand column, and that's where the main sum happens. I move one column to the left, and I do my maths to work out my cost of goods sold, and the answer goes there. I take my cost of goods sold away from my sales, and that gives me my profit. So that's how to do a basic trading account. So I'm going to label that there. And it's trying to work out the profit I make buying and selling goods. I hope that makes sense to you.